Cranbrook, BC housing situation is crazy. Here's your market update for February of 2026. If you're trying to sell your home in Cranbrook right now and it feels slower than last year, you're not imagining it. If you're a buyer thinking, maybe I'll wait for prices to fall, you might be misreading the market. Because here's what makes Cranbrook different. While much of the Kootenays region saw major sales decline, Cranbrook single-family sales were actually up 33.3% year over year in January. So that was a busy January for Cranbrook. But here's the twist. Prices barely moved. The benchmark is sitting around $516,900 according to the Kootenays region January 2026 data. So what does that mean? It means Cranbrook is not crashing. It's not booming. It is stabilizing. And stabilization can feel confusing. Today we're breaking down exactly what's happening in Cranbrook and the threats and the opportunities that this creates for buyers and sellers in 2026. From the January 2026 Association Statistics of the Kootenays region, here we go. Cranbrook single-family benchmark pricing is $516,900 approximately. Sales are up 33.3% year over year, and townhouse sales, they were minimal. Apartment benchmark pricing is approximately $265,200. Now let's take a big zoom out for some context here. Across the broader Kootenays region, sales are down 26.3%. Dollar value down 31.9%, but Cranbrook bucked the regional trend in detached home volume. And that's important because Cranbrook isn't driven by discretionary vacation buyers. It's driven by primary residence demand. And that makes it more stable and more competitive. So here's what's crazy about Cranbrook right now. Sales are happening, but there's no frenzy. Prices are holding, but they're not accelerating. And that creates something rare, a balanced but cautious market. And balanced markets reward strategy. Let's break down the threats first. Okay, threats for Cranbrook sellers. Number one, overconfidence from strong sales numbers. Yes, sales were up year over year, but volume is still thinner than peak years. And buyers today are far more analytical. They are payment sensitive. They're comparing across different neighborhoods. They're looking at newer builds versus a resale. They're negotiating harder. And if you interpret sales as up as I can price aggressively, you're going to lose some momentum. And in this market, momentum is everything. Threat number two, inventory risk. Heading into the spring, across the Kootenays region, new listings rose nearly 10% year over year. If Cranbrook sees that same listing growth in March and April and sales normalize, we could move from balanced to slightly buyer leaning quickly. Cranbrook is larger than Elkford or Sparwood, Fernie, and which means inventory shifts matter more gradually, but they still matter. Threat number three would be competing with newer product. Cranbrook has more subdivision development, newer construction, builder inventory, and if your home is older and not updated, buyers are going to compare really hard because renovations aren't cheap. So you better price accordingly. Conditions matter more now than ever in a stable market. So here's your opportunities as sellers. Number one, primary residence stability. Unlike Fernie or Invermere, Cranbrook is less exposed to discretionary spending pauses. People move here because they got a job, they need more space, having more kids, they're relocating for work. And that necessity demand supports transaction volume, which we are actually seeing. So opportunity number two, affordable relative positioning. At $516,900, that benchmark, according to the Kootenays region, Cranbrook is more affordable than Fernie, like way half price compared to Fernie, almost. It's more accessible than Invermere, larger and more diversified than Elkford or Sparwood, and that gives it regional gravitational pull. especially for young families and move-up buyers. So the threats right now for the Cranbrook buyers. Number one, underestimating the competition. Because Cranbrook is more stable, it also recovers activity faster. If spring momentum builds, you won't get long negotiation windows here. Balanced markets can tighten quickly. Waiting for deeper discounts, there's no data right now that's going to support that. Okay, threat two, payment shock sensitivity. Even though prices are stable, higher rates means payments are not. Buyers need to focus on monthly costs, stress test realities, property tax impact, insurance increases. Stable prices do not mean low cost of ownership. Now here's the opportunities for the buyers. Opportunity number one, no bidding wars for now. This is not 2021. You can actually negotiate, inspect properly, condition financing, structure possession timing. And that's powerful in a balanced market. Opportunity number two, strategic long-term entry. Cranbrook historically appreciates steadily, not explosively, which means long-term ownership wins. And if you're buying as a primary residence, a 5 to 10 year hold, today's stability is not a bad entry point, especially if spring activity increases. So what's going to happen next? Well, here's what I'm watching. I'm going to be watching March listing volume, February listing volume, days on market trends, price reductions, absorption rates. If sales momentum continues through Q2, Cranbrook stays balanced or slightly seller leaning. If listings surge faster than sales, we tilt towards buyer favored by late spring. And right now, Cranbrook is the most stable market in the Kootenays. And stability can be misinterpreted as weakness, but it's not a weakness, it's normalization. So Cranbrook feels crazy right now because the region is slowed down. Cranbrook didn't collapse, sales rose, prices held, frenzy disappeared, and that creates a quieter, more strategic market. And strategic markets reward preparation. So if you're thinking about selling in Cranbrook in 2026, please do not rely on the regional headlines. Cranbrook behaves differently than Fernie, Sparwood, Elkford, Kimberley, anywhere else. Your neighborhood is actually going to matter, and your price band also matters as well. Condition matters, timing matters, and if you want a hyperlocal breakdown of your specific area, competitive positioning, your realistic pool, and where spring momentum is heading, reach out. Let's build a strategy tailored to the market that we are actually in right now. Because in balanced markets, precision beats optimism. See you in the next one.